And then our deep dive segment where we're taking you through criminal births in Kerala, where families opting for home deliveries, going against the medical system. In fact, one lady died because her husband forced her to deliver at home. And a case has been registered. Kerala very closely monitoring home births. And finally, in our viral watch, we're looking at a nice dance that Sunny Deol has had with the armed forces right before his film Jaat releases. All that and more, the headlines first. NIA successfully extradites Mumbai terror attack mastermind Tahawwur Rana to India. The NIA releases his first picture. Tahawwur Rana is being produced in the court of Special NIA Judge Chandrajit Singh before multiple agencies begin his interrogation. He will be provided a lawyer to defend himself, but remember the demands for his facing death penalty grows louder by victims' families. Dubai's Crown Prince meets Prime Minister Modi and Rajnath Singh, discusses trade and defence. Looking at UAE-India ties now only growing stronger. AIADMK Chief Edapadi Palaniswamy to be meeting with Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Chennai to finalise the alliance ahead of State Assembly polls. Senior Tamil Nadu BJP leaders to join his handshake meeting. Karnataka Cabinet to finally take up long-delayed caste census report on Friday. Remember, the Congress's one and only demand is to carry out a caste survey across India. They want to allot reservations according to the caste census report. Search operations underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Udhampur after encounter with suspected terrorists. This operation has begun. The last 24 hours intensified, still ongoing. Rituraj Gaikwad injured and he's out of the IPL league. MS Dhoni now to return as CSK captain for the rest of the season. Of course, the IPL heat soaking India. Trump has taken a whole U-turn. He's paused for 90 days tariffs that he's imposed across various countries, of course, except China. Global markets now bounce back owing to this announcement. Macron says France could recognize Palestinian state in June. In turn, some countries in West Asia could recognize the state of Israel. Tahawwur Rana is finally here. 17 years later, Indian government has managed to bring him back. The Indian agencies who liaised with the United States to finally manage his extradition. Multiple times that he tried to evade it, but the last-ditch effort failed. 64-year-old Tahawwur Rana finally lands in Delhi at the Indira Gandhi International Airport a little earlier. He landed on a special flight. All his pleas to block extradition clearly failed. He was brought back by the joint NIA and RAW teams. This is the first image that has been released by the NIA itself. Rana was produced at the Patiala House Court. He's currently there. The Ministry of Home Affairs has named the senior advocate, Narinder Mann, as the special public prosecutor in the case. Advocate Piyush Sachdeva from Delhi Legal Services Authority will defend Rana. This marks the major milestone indeed for India in India's pursuit of justice for the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks that killed 166 people. Rana is accused of giving cover to David Headley, the man who was a key conspirator. David Headley, he's facing prison time in the United States. We see Tahawwur Rana was his. Both of them recce'd Mumbai, took videos, found their targets, and then went back to a safe haven and sent multiple armed terrorists, almost 10 of them, to Mumbai to carry out the attack. Series of attacks in the most high-profile places, including the Taj Palace Hotel, the Oberoi Hotel, Nariman House, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's railway station, We saw nearly 170 odd people who died in the attack, including 26 foreign nationals. He did a recce as part of Lashkar-e-Taiba's bid to ruin peace in India and to kill India's global rise. The motive behind the 26/11 carnage was quite clear: to paralyze India, target its financial capital Mumbai, and send a global message of terror. For families of the victim, many of them now still live with trauma. Demands for death penalty grows louder. They say justice means nothing short of death penalty. They want Tahawwur Rana hanged. The handler is finally here. The countdown now for justice begins. Right. Shifting our focus to West Bengal and the protests that now ensues over the teachers' recruitment scam. Several teachers now out on the streets to protest. A fresh wave of agitation has erupted in Kolkata, this time not just over loss of jobs but loss of dignity. Today, a group of dismissed school teachers began a relay hunger strike outside the West Bengal School Service Commission, the office in Salt Lake. Their lives, they say, have come to a grinding halt after the Supreme Court held the cancellation of over 25,000 appointments earlier this month, calling the recruitment process deeply tainted. Adding fuel to their anger, Wednesday's police crackdown in Kasba. Several teachers alleged they were lathi charged. They were shoved, kicked. While protesting peacefully at the district inspector's school's office, they were heckled and harassed by the cops. That's what they claim. Joining the sit-in protest was BJP MP and former Kolkata High Court Judge Abhijit Gandopadhyay, the very man who in 2021 ordered a CBI probe into the same recruitment scam, the school recruitment scam. He blamed the government for failing its teachers, saying that cases have been filed against innocent educators whose only fault was getting caught in this corrupt system. Gangopadhyay even skipped a scheduled meeting with Education Minister Bratya Basu, calling it a mark of protest against the police's action of lathi charge on peaceful protesters. Now, many teachers say that they've spent years preparing, teaching, building careers, only to finally watch it all crumble. They feel abandoned by the system, the commission, and now the state. While arrests have been made, including that of the former Education Minister Partha Chatterjee, the wound is of course still fresh. Most of all these teachers who are protesting have lost their jobs. Many of them saying now their self-respect has now been hit because they weren't part of the scam, but they got caught in this crossfire. The hunger strike, that's just the beginning. These teachers say that they'll continue until justice is served or until silence is finally heard.
अभी देखना है कि बंगाल के लोग हैं इसको किस तरह से रिएक्ट करते हैं, किस तरह से लेते हैं इसको, ये सबसे बड़ी बात है। लेकिन ये होना कोई नई चीज नहीं है इस स्टेट में, ये होना तो नहीं चाहिए था ना। और ये एक दिन में नहीं हुआ है, एक महीने में नहीं हुआ है, एक साल में नहीं हुआ, ये सालों से चल रहा है। पूरा माइंड सेट करके प्लान करके ये हुआ है और किसी को कुछ नहीं पता। इतने सालों से ये सब चल रहा है, किसी को कुछ नहीं पता। इसके लिए दायी सिर्फ ये सरकार है और ये सरकार है।
देखिए, पश्चिम बंगाल की हिस्ट्री में, इतिहास में बहुत काला दिन है और इस काला दिन के लिए जिम्मेदार ममता बनर्जी है। उन्होंने और उनकी पार्टी के लोगों ने चोरी किया है और उस चोरी की वजह से इन शिक्षकों की नौकरी चली गई है। कितने लोग इसके द्वारा प्रभावित हुए हैं और जिस तरीके से घटना घटी है और पुलिस का जो रवैया है वो रवैया एकदम सही नहीं है। हर लाठी हर लाथी यानी लात और हर अत्याचार का हिसाब डायरी में लिखा रह रहा है। सबका हिसाब हम चुकता करेंगे। बीजेपी की सरकार बनेगी और इनके ऊपर कार्रवाई होगी।
आप लोग जानते हैं 3 अप्रैल को जो सुप्रीम कोर्ट का ऑर्डर आया है कि 26,000 टीचरों का नौकरी बातिल किया जाता है। इसके विरोध में हम लोग आज डीआई ऑफिस का गेट पे ताला जड़ने के लिए आए। बहुत सारा प्रॉब्लम है, हम सिर्फ अकेला नहीं, मेरे यहाँ पर जितने भी लोग हैं सभी के साथ कुछ ना कुछ समस्या है। किसी का लोन चल रहा है, किसी का ईएमआई चल रहा है, किसी के माता पिता बीमार है, उनका घर कैसे चलेगा, ये सोचनी है बात।
राज्य सरकार का अभी कहना है कि आप लोग वॉलंटियरी सर्विस करें, वो हम लोग नहीं मानेंगे, क्योंकि हम लोग सटीक तरीके से एग्जाम दे के, इंटरव्यू दे के, एवरी टाइप करके हम लोग यहाँ पे आए हैं। तो इसीलिए हम वॉलंटियर सर्विस के लिए हम लोग राजी नहीं है, क्योंकि इससे हम लोग का नहीं चलेगा।
हम लोगों के साथ बहुत अन्याय हुआ है, ये अन्याय नहीं सहा जाएगा। हम लोग योग्य टीचर है और हम लोग को वापस चाहिए, नौकरी चाहिए, हम लोग को पूर्ण रूप से नौकरी चाहिए। कॉन्ट्रेक्चुअल बेसिस पे हम लोग को नौकरी नहीं चाहिए और हम लोग एग्जाम भी नहीं देंगे। हम लोगों का फ्रेश रिक्रूटमेंट पहले से हुआ है, हम लोग एक बार नहीं 5-5 बार DI ऑफिस में आ करके हम लोग सारा डॉक्यूमेंट्स दिए हैं। इसके बाद भी ये क्यों किया जा रहा है, क्यों हम लोग के साथ अन्याय हो रहा है?
हम लोग यहाँ पर प्रतिवाद करने आए हैं। एग्जैक्टली हमारा अधिकार छीना गया है, हमारी कोई गलती नहीं है और किसी भी लिस्ट में हमारी कोई गलती नहीं पाई गई है, फिर भी हमारी नौकरी को छीन लिया गया है। तो हम यहाँ प्रतिवाद जनाने आए हैं कि जो भी इसमें दोषी हैं उनको अलग किया जाए और जो सही कैंडिडेट्स हैं उनका अलग लिस्ट प्रकाशित किया जाए और हमारी नौकरियों को वापस किया जाए। हम यहाँ पर निर्दोष होने के बावजूद भी सजा भुगत रहे हैं।
Shifting our focus here to Tamil Nadu, Union Home Minister Amit Shah all set to be in Tamil Nadu for his very significant 2-day visit. His visit has sparked intense speculation about the leadership shake-up in Tamil Nadu BJP and the revival of the BJP AIADMK alliance, right ahead of 2026 assembly polls. Very crucial visit. Amit Shah is scheduled to land anytime now. He's going to be staying at a private hotel in Gundi. On Friday, he is expected to hold a series of closed-door meetings with state BJP leaders and senior RSS functionaries. The key meeting here is with RSS ideologue and senior journalist S. Gurumurthy. In fact, there will be a lot of talk on who exactly will be leading the BJP in Tamil Nadu. Sources have confirmed that Annamalai, who has led the state BJP through a turbulent and high-profile tenure, is stepping aside. That's now confirmed that Annamalai will no longer continue as the president of the BJP in Tamil Nadu. The party is now looking for a new face. Who could that be? The front runner is believed to be Nayanar Nagendran, a BJP MLA from Tirunelveli and a former AIADMK minister with deep roots in Mukkulattur, Maravar community that he belongs to, very crucial in the southern part of Tamil Nadu's caste metrics. Other names in contention include L. Murugan, BJP's Dalit face and a Union Minister of State. Also Vanati Srinivasan, an OBC leader and Coimbatore South MLA, also the national head of the BJP's Mahila Morcha. And then KM Muruganatham from Mukkulattur. In fact, he is, I beg your pardon, he is from the Mukkulattur community and is a close associate of Annamalai. He is also one of the front runners. But Amit Shah's visit isn't just about replacing Annamalai, it's of course the works, wanting to bring the cadre of the BJP together, instill confidence, because we know the BJP has had really no presence as such in Tamil Nadu. They weren't in an alliance in the recently held parliamentary elections as well with AIADMK. So no significant breakthrough for the BJP there. This time they're looking at coming back as an ally with the AIADMK. So it's very crucial on how the BJP moves to achieving its ambitions. Sources say that AIADMK General Secretary Edapadi Palaniswamy has sought an appointment with Amit Shah. While no formal alliance announcement is expected as yet, a political understanding could be reached as early as tomorrow. Amit Shah's threefold mission here. He basically wants to crystallize ties with the AIADMK for 2026, find a respectful exit for Annamalai. Basically, there are talks that he could be given a central position as well, and name a new state BJP chief with strong caste and regional presence. BJP now preparing to regroup after a modest showing in 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Of course, well, modest saying is basically a better way to say it. They weren't able to break through at all in the parliamentary elections this time. They hoped that Annamalai would be their front face at that point, but didn't seem like Annamalai also could break through on a land that's heavy on Dravidian politics. So the BJP now wanting to piggyback on the AIADMK.
So tomorrow his visit is only more with respect to meeting our leaders and to take stock of what is happening. Amit Shah ji always keeps coming so that he has to take ground level feedback what is happening in the state. And we are also happy that he has visited more times now in the last 1 month. This is fourth visit of Amit Shah ji, and continuously sir is coming, talking to people, taking different feedback from various sections. He also meets cross section of people. He meets business people, he meets academicians, he meets all kinds of people so that they give him an accurate feedback. And tomorrow when we meet the press, when our senior leaders meet the press, 100% will brief you what this is all about.
Well, remember the one criteria that the BJP set, that anyone who will take over as the BJP president in Tamil Nadu will have to be a member of the BJP for 10 years at least. So that really brings down their choices to just a few. We're going to keep a watch on who that would be. Meanwhile, Annamalai is carrying on his vociferous campaign against the DMK ruling. The BJP chief, who still carries that position there, accuses the DMK government of enabling illegal liquor sales despite state orders to shut TASMAC outlets for Mahavir Jayanti. Today's Mahavir Jayanti. TASMAC outlets are supposed to be shut as mandated by the government itself. But here is Annamalai, who puts out this video on social media alleging that the government-run liquor store in Pudukkottai was operational even on this religious holiday. He writes on his X platform, and I quote, "This video explains one of the elements of the multi-thousand crore TASMAC scam in Tamil Nadu." Further saying, today is Mahavir Jayanti and the state-run liquor shops are ordered to be shut, but here is a TASMAC shop selling liquor illegally. These unaccounted sales directly end up in the DMK's minister's pocket. Annamalai pointing fingers that illegal and after-hours sales are rampant and in government-run liquor shops, and that reflects how the system is rigged to loot under DMK rule. Words of Annamalai. While district administration such as the Kalakurchi and Tenkasi had officially declared April 10th as a dry day, the BJP leader's video there clearly showing that TASMAC shops are open clearly illegally. DMK is yet to respond. Bengaluru's water crisis deepens, and it seems like it's now hitting our wallets hard. Starting this month, Bengalurians will have to shell out more for a resource that's already vanishing. The Bangalore Water Supply and Sewage Board has hiked water tariffs. For homes, that means an extra 20 to 30 on your monthly bill. For commercial users, you're looking at nearly 50 to 60 rupees hike. Sanitary charges have also gone up by 25%, so that's an additional 10 to 15 for households. In all, families could end up paying up to 50 more. Businesses might feel a bigger pinch, up to 100 extra every month. Doesn't stop there. The BWSSB has now rolled out a permanent 3% hike every April 1st going forward. Officials justify this move, saying rising costs in treatment and supply of water is pushing this decision, especially as Bengaluru stares at an intensifying water crisis. Let's break that down for you, just how crucial and critical the situation is in Bengaluru. Out of 183 lakes in Bengaluru, which falls under the BBMP limits, 53 of them have completely dried out. Summer heat, overuse of our drains there, Bengaluru's lakes now drying up fast. Water levels in remaining ones just 35 to 40% of their full capacity, and that's dangerously low. As of April 5th, records show that lakes should be holding over 31,000 million litres, but only 10,980 million litres now remain in the existing lakes. Why does this matter? Of course, drying lakes mean poor underground recharge, and that directly hits our neighborhoods, and we have to eventually rely on bore wells. A case in point here is Mahadevpura, Bengaluru's IT heartbeat is quickly drying out. Out of 50 lakes, 19 have vanished, leaving just 2,110 million litres of water that exists there. That's out of a possible 9,493 million litres. So imagine how quickly the water there has dried out. Many homes and offices rely solely on bore wells. With summer here, that's a serious red flag. Here's how the rest of the city is faring. Yelahanka zone, 12 of 27 lakes are dry. Just 4,276 million litres are now left there out of what was previously 9,214 million litres. RR Nagar zone, that's also in crisis. 12 out of 33 lakes there have dried up. So only 393 million litres are available there out of previously 3,032 million. Dasarahalli zone, 6 out of 12 lakes have dried up there. Just 140 million litres left there out of what was 1,740 million litres. Bommanahalli zone, 2 out of 44 lakes have dried. Current storage there is 2,725 million litres. Imagine how quickly and how fast water is shrinking and drying up. South zone, 911 million litres now remain. out of once what was 1,339. And East Zone, 2 out of 5 lakes have dried. Storage also at 2,725 million litres. That's hardly anything. But not all is bleak. West Zone is relatively better, holding on to 351 million litres out of what was 453 million. Well, we know there is a crunch and it's a dire situation. It's wise to use water judiciously, and not too sure if this is the only method and way to preserve water by increasing water tariffs. But, well, the fact is, the matter is now burdening the common man. Here you have Kannada actor who's currently who's a murder accused, has been in prison for a year, out on bail, claiming he has health issues, but then is seen visiting a private film screening, speaking to the media, laughing and praising the film, moving about as if nothing's wrong. Well, he is supposed to be attending summons and in court, but he exempted himself, claiming that he was ill, he had severe back pain, couldn't move and couldn't come and show up in court. The court has also pulled him up. Darshan, who sought recent exemption from appearing in court citing back pain, now stirs up this controversy. Visuals on your screen there show him attending a late-night film screening, raising questions about his claims and legal intentions itself. Just 2 days ago, Darshan's lawyers submitted a request to the court seeking exemption from his appearance, stating that the actor was suffering from severe back pain. The court had responded firmly, issuing a warning against Darshan's continued absence from legal proceedings related to his involvement in the high-profile Renukaswamy murder case, his fan who was murdered, allegedly by he and his henchmen. Now, in a surprising turn of events, Darshan was seen attending a 3-hour private film screening late last night, organized specially for him by a film's producer. Reports indicate that the screening was for promoting a movie featuring one of Darshan's close associates. So Darshan seen very happily, gleefully attending it, while he should have ideally appeared in court for the summons. He skipped the summons, claiming ill health, but this video now stirs up controversy. All right, skipping to YSRCP in Andhra Pradesh now, the former Chief Minister Jagan Reddy launching a blistering attack on the state police, accusing some of the police officers of siding with current Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu and acting as his personal watchman. In a sharp warning, Jagan said, and I quote, "This administration is not permanent. For every unlawful action, police officials will be held accountable with interest. We will strip such officers of their uniforms, present them as accused before the law and ensure that they lose their jobs." So basically what he says is that some police officers are acting like watchmen outside the home of the Chief Minister. He was speaking to the media there. The former Chief Minister, Jagan Reddy, alleges several police officials were neglecting their constitutional responsibilities in an effort to curry favour to Chandrababu Naidu. Jagan's remarks have come days after the YSRCP flagged serious security lapses during his visit to Ramagiri in Sri Satya Sai district. The party says that despite his Z+ security status, there was inadequate police presence at the helipad.
చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి మెప్పు కోసం ఎవరైతే టోపీ మీద ఉన్న సింహాలకు సెల్యూట్ చేయకుండా చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారికి వాచ్మెన్ల కింద పనిచేస్తా ఉన్న ఆ ప్రతి పోలీస్ అధికారికి చెప్తా ఉన్నా, ఎల్లకాలం చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి పరిపాలన సాగదు. మీ యూనిఫామ్ తీయించి మీకు ఉద్యోగాలు లేకుండా చేస్తామని కూడా ఈ సందర్భంగా ఇప్పటికైనా చెప్తా ఉన్నా, ప్రతి పోలీస్ అధికారిలో కూడా మార్పు తెచ్చుకోండి.
US President Donald Trump has paused his tariff announcement for most countries for 90 days except China. Of course, this has helped Asian markets recover. China, though, has responded to the tariff hike, saying it does not want a trade war but will not fear if the United States continues its tariff threats. Let's listen in.
The United States is still imposing tariffs on China, and China is firmly opposed to such bullying. China will absolutely not accept pressure, threats and blackmail. That is not the right way to deal with China. If the United States ignores the interests of the two countries and the international community and insists on fighting a tariff war and a trade war, China will certainly accompany it to the end.
Now remember, a baseline tariff of 10% that came into effect globally on April 5th remains unchanged. What this means for India, which has been in ongoing trade talks with the United States since the start of the Trump administration, gets a temporary reprieve. The 26% reciprocal tariff that was expected to hit Indian goods is now on hold for 90 days, giving negotiators more room to work out a potential deal. But the 10% baseline tariff stays in place for all nations, including India. Meanwhile, Asian markets opened sharply higher on Thursday following Trump's announcement. The decision comes after several days of severe market turmoil that had wiped trillions off the United States stock valuation. Here's a detailed report.
Asian stocks roared higher in early trade Thursday after US President Donald Trump paused most of his new tariffs for 90 days. Days of market turmoil that wiped trillions of dollars off the value of US stocks.
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, they were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
Japan's Nikkei index jumped over 8% early on, following huge gains for Wall Street. Exporters were among the big gainers at the open, with Toyota up close to 10% and chip gear maker Advantest surging by 15%. South Korea's Kospi index jumped 5%. But there were more modest gains for stocks in China, where Trump has not paused tariffs. Instead, he turned up the heat again, saying he would raise tariffs on the country to 125%. That could set the stage for further action by Beijing, which has vowed to resist what it calls American blackmail. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index gained over 2% in early trade as investors took stock. Now, Trump's stunning reversal could allow time for talks with trading partners. Despite all the turmoil for equities, it may have been the bond market that spurred the change of heart. Investors had grown alarmed by a slide in US government bonds, which normally gain in times of crisis. Some traders said the moves were a sign of major trouble brewing. Trump himself alluded to the worries.
The bond market is very tricky. I was watching it, but if you look at it now, it's beautiful. The bond market right now is beautiful. But yeah, I saw last night where people were getting a little queasy.
US benchmark bonds stabilized following the move on tariffs. Meanwhile, oil prices initially rose, but they fell again on Thursday, with markets fearful over what the US-China trade war means for global growth. Investors also remain concerned over the wild unpredictability of Washington policymaking and the fact that a blanket import tariff of 10% largely remains in place. International benchmark Brent crude was down over 1% in early morning trade.
Now, US Democrat Senator Adam Schiff has raised serious concerns of potential insider trading tied to President Donald Trump's social media activity. Just 3 hours before Donald Trump announced the 90-day pause on the newly imposed tariffs that had sent global markets into a tizzy, Trump then quickly posted a message on social media before his announcement of a pause, and that message said, buy. Just one word, buy. Now, that post was followed by a market rally with Asian stocks and US futures rebounding sharply after days of that turmoil. Speaking to reporters at the Capitol, Schiff has said, and I quote, not much of a secret there when the president tweets to the entire world to buy 3 hours before the announcement.
I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs, and are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute. So we're going to try to find out.
And on that note, I'm going to slip into a short break. We're coming back with a lot more on the other side, our deep dive segment. We're looking at home deliveries, home births becoming a lot more popular, not just among conservative families, but also in the modern world. How safe is that? We're going to take you through a case study on the other side. Stay with us.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength. Sootyade TMT Reebok. True inner strength.
I need expert performance. I need my career.
Smash your way to glory at the News9 Corporate Badminton Championship. Get ready for the ultimate badminton showdown. News9 presents the biggest corporate championship, a battle of skills, speed and supremacy. Cash prize of 6 lakh rupees across categories. Venue, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Hyderabad. Dates, May 9th to May 11th. A chance to showcase your talent and make a mark. The court is set. Are you ready? Register now.
आपके वक़्फ़ में एक भी नॉन मुस्लिम नहीं आएगा.
Waqf bill was passed by Rajya Sabha. Opposition parties have challenged the legislation in the Supreme Court. Can Mohammad Yunus be trusted because he met Prime Minister Modi? West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee met thousands of teachers and educators. Tahawwur said that it took 21 months for Bharatiya Janata Party to impose president rule in the state.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
Thanks very much for tuning in. Our deep dive segment. A shocking case out of Kerala has stirred up national outrage. 34-year-old Asma has died during childbirth in Malappuram. Her husband Sirajuddin, a YouTuber and a self-styled Orthodox cleric, chose to conduct a home delivery. Basically, carry out delivery process herself at home, and this was not the first one. Multiple kids. She's had multiple kids as well, and all were done at home, and it seems like this delivery failed for Asma. He allegedly refused to take her to the hospital. Asma didn't survive. She passed away when she was, in fact, we hear that he tried to hide this entire thing. Sirajuddin, a YouTuber and a self-styled Orthodox cleric, he chose this home delivery method, allegedly refusing to take her to the hospital, and eventually she succumbed. He's now been arrested, but this isn't just about one man's action here. This tragedy has exposed a dangerous underbelly, the disturbing trend of unassisted home births in parts of Kerala, especially in the northern districts. And let me be sure here and tell you, this is not just a conservative problem. It could be a modern day problem as well. Home birth seems to be increasingly popular, many of them not monitored by doctors. It could lead to such fatalities. Kerala government now has decided to crack down strongly against such unscientific and risky practices. In fact, Health Minister Veena George has directed authorities to track and monitor these reports of home birth.
That woman was in a serious condition, and the persons who were around her, seeing that she is in a very serious condition, they didn't take them to the hospital even at that point of time. So it is not acceptable. I got the preliminary report through the DHS, and it can be observed as a criminal activity. So it's very unfortunate. So we are taking it quite seriously.
Now, Kerala Government Medical Officers Association has gone so far as to call unassisted home deliveries a criminal practice. To put things here in perspective, Kerala sees nearly 3 lakh deliveries a year, while the overwhelming majority take place in medical facilities. Around 500 babies are still being born at home, often without any trained medical expert or help. So, why is this happening? Who is driving this misinformation? And more importantly, how do you fight it? Of course, this is happening in conservative households and it's an illegal practice, let me warn you. But we're also looking at this becoming a more modern day practice. Joining me live is Dr. Sulpi Nohu, National Convener of the Indian Medical Association and former State President of IMA Kerala. Sir, thank you very much for speaking to News9. What is your first reaction when you're looking at a tragic case like this? And is this a part of a wider pattern that you see in Kerala?
No, definitely. It's a very, very shocking and very unfortunate incident which has happened here. Basically, our maternal mortality rate, that is the death rate among pregnant females or maybe after a delivery, it's actually comparable to international standards. It's only 19, but at the same time, in some part of the state it has happened. It's not the first case. It maybe there are other few cases also in past few years. Very, very unfortunate, and I think it must be dealt very, very strongly with aggressive legal measures as well as with awareness campaign. Very strong awareness among some parts, and definitely it's not there is no religious compulsion or religious thought process in which we can do delivery at home. It's not a practice in Kerala. A majority, as a majority goes to the majority of the people, they take hospital care, and that's the pattern here. But unfortunately, this thing has happened, and most alarming is that such trends spread by the social media, especially in YouTubes and WhatsApp and all.
Doctor, I was just about to say, the man you see on our screens here is a YouTuber himself. So he kind of pushes this method and orthodox medical practices on his platform. I honestly haven't seen it myself, but I hear that he was so rattled about losing his wife, he tried to bury her secretly. So this is hardcore criminal practice in nature.
Absolutely, it's a planned murder. We can say that the lady was bleeding for almost 4 or 5 hours, and he did not take that patient to the hospital, and he tried to do other things instead of reporting it to the hospital and taking her to the hospital. Very, very unfortunate, and it must be, there is the problem is, after listening to so much things in the social media, the people and some part of the very educated people also, they think that they say that the pregnancy, delivery, everything is a physiological process. So why not why not at home? The thing is, there are very good data which says that at the time of freedom, maybe in 1947 and 1950s, the death rate after delivery was around 2,000, and now it has come down to 19. So compare, it is much less than in any other.
We've made huge progress, but just the fact that Kerala has one of the finest health indicators in the country, the fact that this news is coming rampantly from a state like Kerala, which otherwise has great health facilities, healthcare system itself is affordable and robust. A case like this certainly disappoints us. Well, we know that the cops have initiated a case and they are now very closely looking into such cases, and if at all they find one, remember, this is criminal in nature. They're not spared, they're arrested. Kerala government has been very clear on cracking this down and warning people not to carry out home deliveries anymore. Thanks very much, Doctor, for joining us on that. All right, taking you through a very interesting news from Bengaluru. If you're Bengalurian, this will disturb you. Bengaluru's traffic is the stuff of legends, and not in a good way. It takes the average Bengalurians 34 minutes to crawl just 10 kilometers. In a year, that's 100 hours lost in peak hour delays and a staggering 117 hours just being stuck. doing nothing, bumper to bumper traffic. Despite new roads, flyovers and ever-changing one-ways, the gridlock in Bengaluru refuses to go. Now the Karnataka government has crunched some hard numbers to back what we've all been living through. According to the state's latest motor vehicle registration data, there's been a steady rise across all categories over the last 4 years in vehicles. As of Feb 2025, Karnataka has over 3.3 crore registered vehicles. They've basically gone up from just a little over 2.7 crores in March 2021. So barely 2.5 years or 3 years, we're looking at nearly 1 crore increase in vehicles in Bengaluru. No wonder the kind of traffic crunch. Bengaluru alone accounts for 1.2 crore of them, where basically that was an overall Karnataka data that I shared with you. Now, we're looking at the registered vehicles that are being reported in Karnataka. What's choking the roads the most here is two-wheelers. Their numbers have jumped from 66.7 lakh in March 2021 to 82.4 lakh by Feb 2025. That's a spike of 23.5% in just 4 years. And then we're looking at two-wheelers. 66.7 lakh Feb 2025 registered two-wheelers rose to 82.4 lakhs. That's an increase by 23.5%. Even cars have surged, up by 21% from 20.8 lakh to 25.2 lakh. So there you have it. We're looking at an increase in registrations of cars and bikes in Karnataka, Bengaluru facing the worst. What does this tell about Bengaluru as a city? Its rising vehicle count is clearly tied to a growing middle-class population, increased purchasing power, even amid global economic uncertainty. Wishing Bengaluru well and happy for the success, but what are you going to do if you're stuck in traffic for as many hours? How are you actually going to bring out productivity? But here's the core issue. Where do we go from here? Is there a proper public transport system that can help ease Bengaluru's congestion? That's the big question here. How do we ease congestion when vehicles far outpace infrastructure itself? Why does the city still lack efficient public transport alternatives despite repeated promises? And what will it really take to reclaim our roads and our time? Remember, in a global survey, it's very clearly shown that Bengaluru is number 3 in the world when it comes to slowest cities. And number 1 seems to be Kolkata. Joining me here is Rajkumar Dugar, founder and convener, Citizens for Bengaluru. Thanks very much, sir. Ashish Verma, convener, IISC, Sustainable Transportation Lab, for joining us on this. Rajkumar Dugar, your take on Bengaluru being the 3rd slowest city in the globe. How does that make you feel?
Thanks, Nabila. I don't think it is achievement to be proud of, because we have the dubious distinction of having almost as many vehicles as there are a number of people in the city. So the solution is to reduce the rate of growth of both population as well as the number of vehicles, with the goal of filling the roads to improve quality of life.
You know, Ashish Verma, your take on this quickly on Bengaluru being the 3rd slowest city in the globe, a very distinct brand that we've now had slapped on us. I count myself in. I have a vehicle in Bengaluru too. But what really is the solution?
Yeah, thanks, Nabila. It's good to join your show after a long time.
Yeah.
I remember, you used to attend your sessions in your previous avatar.
Right.
So nothing surprising as to what the Bengaluru situation is with respect to traffic, and its dubious rank as among the most traffic congested cities. It's mostly because of the misplaced priority and a lack of understanding of how do you balance out the travel demand to be taken by different modes in the right share of trips being taken by different modes in a way that everybody is happy in terms of their needs of travel being met. What this really means is what Bengaluru needs is a combination of push and pull measures, which is technically we would call it as push measures, basically to see that you discourage ownership and use of personal vehicles to an extent that the public transport, walking, cycling, the modes that we want to encourage people to use becomes more and more attractive. Ideally, for current population and size and density, Bengaluru, should have at least 80% of their daily trips happening on public transport, walking, cycling, and rest 20% on other modes. When you have such an equilibrium, you will then see that everybody is happy in terms of their travel needs being satisfied with reasonable level of service. At the same time, you'll also reach an equilibrium where the traffic congestion will not be seen generally on the road. And you'll also have lesser tailpipe emissions and other, externalities like, air pollution happening from tailpipe emissions and so on. So we have to reach Bengaluru towards that state of equilibrium, and which means that you need right kind of policy and interventions of infrastructure that would nudge 80% of trips happening on public transport, walking, cycling. Then only you'll see Bengaluru become more sustainable and livable in terms of how mobility system is and how well people feel happy and their quality of life improves.
Raj, if you're with me and your connection is back, all right, we seem to have lost Raj's connection, but just on a global platform, when we're looking at Bengaluru being the IT city, Silicon Valley, you have the best of startups in the city, you have literally the best infrastructure and technology that one can imagine India has located in Bengaluru. Why are we not finding a solution to traffic woes? Is it just all to do with city's infrastructure, that it's not robust enough? Is there no other solution to this?
No. So, in recent times, we have been taking some parallel from Singapore and some tunnels in Singapore that people think that they are really serving proper purpose there. And we are trying to imitate that solution by proposing a lot of tunnel roads in Bengaluru. But that's a very, false impression that we have. If you compare Singapore and Bangalore on some key indicators, and just want to Singapore's GDP per capita annual is about $84,000 US per capita, whereas India on an average is about 2,600, 2,700 GDP per capita in US dollar terms. It's like average annual income per capita. Okay, so there is a huge difference. But if you see the car ownership, the cars owned per 1,000 population in Singapore, it's just 120 cars per 1,000 population. Whereas Bangalore is already at 165 cars per 1,000 population. You have already shown the total numbers, how they are increasing. But if you normalize it with population, we are already above Singapore, whereas their standard of living is way beyond us. Here we keep saying that, people are getting wealthier, so they'll buy cars, they'll have, earlier they had one car or no car, now they are having 2-3 cars. But what measures Singapore has done to control not just the ownership, they have actually freezed the number of vehicles in the country. It's just around 9 lakh vehicles, which has remained same from 2014 till today. It has not changed.
Transport system.
Sorry? So they have not, so what they've done is, they have created something called a certificate of entitlement. So every year they see how many vehicles have scrapped, how many more vehicles we can add, so that the number remains same, roughly at 9 lakhs. Okay, so they give the certificate of entitlement, which you have to pay to earn it. Only then you are eligible to buy a new vehicle, a new car. On the top of that, just for initial 10 years of tax, just like how we pay lifetime tax, which is about 10% or so here, there you pay 100,000, that is 1 lakh Singapore dollars, just for initial 10 years of tax, which is in Indian rupees roughly about 60 lakhs. So if you're buying a car of 10 lakhs, you will actually pay 70 lakhs to buy a new car. Okay, so that's a complex story which we don't see in Singapore, and we don't realize that because of these measures and public transport being so accessible and affordable, 80% of trips in Singapore happen on public transport, in spite of their annual GDP level is at 84,000. We are just at 2,700. So it's a complete misunderstanding of what we should be doing here as compared to what they have done.
Yeah, Raj, I have your connection back, but I'm short on time. A final word from you on what's the best solution you could think of. Of course, public transport has to better itself. The government has to make this more robust, especially last mile connectivity. But what can we do as citizens?
Well, as a concerned citizen, I would say that the goal is to free the roads, and that is possible by first improving walkability, cyclability, and of course, as you mentioned, public transport. In that, we need at least double the number of buses that we have at present, with lots of small e-buses to ensure very good comprehensive feeder services. And in the metro also, we need faster work. And the metro has to go out and go to the suppliers and get the trains first, because they have corridors ready and no trains. And suburban rail, the public representatives, unfortunately, are not taking much interest. And one of the game changers would be the airport corridor of the suburban train, which has not yet taken off. The work is not started. We also need good drainage systems so that the flooding reduces, and better traffic management, and also quality of roads. Because we have varying the widths of roads and the quality, workmanship, and such things. So we have to discourage private vehicles, and that is not possible by adding to the road infrastructure. More roads, wider roads, elevated roads, tunnel roads. All these are not going to help Bangalore. It's going to make things worse. So we need to focus on, like I said, walkability, cyclability, public transport, and better drainage systems.
Yeah.
And of course, a good, robust parking policy.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed with the best technology in place that's all located in Bengaluru. I'm sure someone will come up with a solution soon enough. But to start with, we're going to follow your cues here. Thanks very much, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Finally, shifting our focus to our viral what segment, what's breaking the internet. Let's take you through this beautiful video that seems to have captured the world's imagination. Planes parked neatly outside beautiful houses, right alongside cars. It's a video that instantly grabs your attention. This isn't a movie set, let me remind you. It's not a billionaire's private compound either. It's Cameron Air Park Estates in California, a residential area built specifically for aviation enthusiasts. Basically, former pilots, current pilots, enthusiasts, all of them get to live their dream. Located near Sacramento, this unique neighborhood is built around the Cameron Park Airport. It's one of the finest residential air parks in the world. It's designed in 1963 for those who live to fly. It's a community where the roads are wider than the runway. Basically, the entire neighborhood itself is built in such a way where you are able to move your planes. Hangars are established in every household. 100 feet roads so wide that you can have a car and a plane moving side by side without a hitch. Homes here come with a massive garage. In fact, each garage doubles up as hangars. Street signs are kept very low so wings don't clip them. And every road is named after iconic aircrafts like Boeing Road, Cessna Drive, you name it. Only 124 homes here make up the entire air park, with about that, as far as I hear, the only one that's currently on sale is one listed at $1.5 million. So it's expensive, but certainly worth the wait for one who has an absolute fetish for airplanes. For residents, this isn't just about convenience, of course. It's also a way of life altogether. In fact, one long-time resident, a retired mechanical engineer, flew to work in Palo Alto daily. It was a 35-minute commute for him, where he literally beat the 2.5-hour journey he would otherwise take on a car. Today, he still gets to keep his plane parked right at his home and goes back and forth from office to home in that plane. And now that he's retired, he moves around for fun in that plane. The neighborhood itself is around an airport, so they have all permissions in place to fly. Walk into any of their social events and you'll find generations of pilots, from World War veterans to young commercial flyers, all stopping mid-conversation to watch a plane take off from there. That's the charm of Cameron Air Park, where the community lives and breathes aviation. Every takeoff still feels like magic, they say. Finally, Sunny Deol shaking a leg with our armed forces. Well, just ahead of his film's release, Jaat. Here you're looking at Sunny Deol, who flew to Jaisalmer, Rajasthan, sought blessings at the Tanot Mata temple in the city, where he spent time with the BSF jawans. In a video there that's gone viral, you can see him dancing in the song Main Nikla Gaddi Leke, the most popular one of Sunny Deol. Shakes a leg with the armed forces. I'm going to leave you with that. A good day there for the Deols, and that's it for me. It's a wrap. Thanks very much for watching. Same place, same time tomorrow. Have a great night.
Mama must be missing us, na?
Let's take you on, spin, give me one day. Feel the itch under my skin, it's a one day. You believe it when you see me and done, hey.
New GT line, Taigun and Virtus. Volkswagen.
Bharat welcomes the world to a new era of creativity. Waves, World Audio-Visual and Entertainment Summit. Connecting creators through Creatosphere. Wave Accelerator. Waves Bazaar.
Where stories, ideas and content go global.
Connecting countries through global media dialogue and Bharat Pavilion.
Shaping narratives and partnerships. Culture, cinema, gaming. Waves fuels the next wave of entertainment.
Connecting creators, connecting countries. Waves 2025.
Smash your way to glory at the News9 Corporate Badminton Championship. Get ready for the ultimate badminton showdown. News9 presents the biggest corporate championship, a battle of skills, speed and supremacy. Cash prize of 6 lakh rupees across categories. Venue, Pulela Gopichand Badminton Academy, Hyderabad. Dates, May 9th to May 11th. A chance to showcase your talent and make a mark. The court is set. Are you ready? Register now.